Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about bullet points in Microsoft Word. So let's begin talking about what this is. Okay, so basically the bullet points were have been used forever, and they're used mostly to separate topics or to separate lists. So let's talk about kind of like the general definition of what bullet points are. So we're going to type it like this. In typography, or define it like this, excuse me. In typography, a bullet point is a symbol used to introduce items as a list. Okay, now that's not the only thing that we can apply them on. It's to apply it to a list, or to apply it to different topics, or to separate chapters even, etc., etc. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an example list. Okay, so I'm going to create just 5 items. Okay, item number 1, item number 2, item number 3, item number 4, and item n, to mention that it's going to be an n amount of items. Okay, so what we do is we select all of the items that we want to create as a list. Each one of these are individual items. Okay, so we click on this little button right here. It's pretty simple. As you can see, the pop-up text showed up here that says bullet points. We click on it, and the bullet points will automatically appear. Now that's the easiest thing that we could do to create a list. And as you can see, if you hit enter, automatically there's going to be a new bullet that's going to appear automatically. Now that's one way of doing it. And of course you could use different types of bullets, right? Now what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to show you how to create a bullet point list just with your keyboard without actually clicking on anything other than just pushing the keys here. So you just type in, for example, the dash key right there, and you hit space bar, and it's automatically going to consider it the first element in the bullet point list. So we're going to put element 1. We hit enter, and automatically the next bullet point will appear. Element 2, element number 3, element 4, and element n. Now the interesting thing here is that if you click on these bullet points, you click on them and all of them will be automatically selected because they're all part of the same list. If I do the same thing up here, all of these are going to be selected automatically together. So I click on this thing right here. Okay, but I want to change the types of bullets. Okay, I want to change these bullets. I don't like the dash thing right there, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to expand this menu. Okay, it tells you the ones that were recently used, document bullets, and it gives you options. You could go as far as saying none. I don't want any bullet points right there. Okay, and it just eliminates them. Or you could select a different type of bullet point. Okay, so we used already this big black dot. We could use a dot that's just outlined. It has nothing in the center. You could use a square bullet point, or you could even go to defining a new bullet point, something completely different. Okay, and right here you can see a bunch of other options. Okay, you could put like a little rhombus, and it looks like this. Okay, or you could put like a little arrow. Okay, and it looks like this, which of course, you know, it could be whatever you want. Okay, so another thing that you could do to expand is that you could change the font. Okay, and within the font you're going to find, if you change the font, you're going to find a bunch of other options that you can also include. Like for example, in this case, the symbol font has been selected, okay, but I'm going to go to something more traditional. I'm going to go to Times New Roman. You can change the font style, the size, and so forth and so on. Okay, in the advanced section, you could put character spacing, ligatures, and a bunch of other things. Okay, I'm going to hit OK, and it gives me this weird option right there. I don't know what it is. It doesn't even show it up as a valid bullet point, but it doesn't matter because it's like a squiggly thing. I don't even know what it is. Okay, so we can go, like I said, to something that's a bit more traditional. Okay, in the fonts, we go to the list again, and we could select something maybe like Arial. That can give us different options. Let's go all the way to the A, just the normal Arial thing right there. We hit OK, and well, the same character appears. But anyways, if you change the options that you have there, something else should appear. Okay, right here in the bullet point list. Oh, this is pretty cool. This is what I wanted to get to. Let's say that I want the bullet point to be the letter K. You can do that. And now all of the elements on the list or the bullet points are going to be a K. That would be weird. Makes no sense. But if you wanted to, you could do that. Okay? Or, you could select something like the registered trademark thing or brand, the copyright thing. There's actually a trademark somewhere. You could put the TM like that, the trademark, and that becomes a bullet point all on its own, right? And you could go as deep as you want and do whatever you want with this, and you could just basically put anything. You could also put a picture, okay, right here in the bullets. As you can see, you could choose a diamond, a green ball, a metallic whatever, a pebble, and they look really bad right here. But as if you put them, just as a bullet point, it looks weird, but it's an option. Okay, I'm just going to go traditional. I'm going to choose this one right here, and I'm going to keep that. Okay, so that's a different type of bullet points. Now, also the list with bullet points. With the list of when you create a list of bullet points, you could also create sub-levels within the list. Okay, so different sub-levels. Okay, um, different bullets. I'm gonna call it like this. I think this is easier to understand. Different bullet levels. Okay, so I select. I'm gonna create a bunch of items. Item A, item B, item C, item D, and item E. Just five different items on the list. Okay, so we select all of them and we create. We select one of the bullet points that we'd like. I'm going to select the square one right there. Okay, but let's say that item A has also, like additional options within that item. Let's make this a little bit easier. Let's say that you want to buy um, things at the grocery store, and you want to buy fruits. Right here, you want to buy vegetables. You want to buy dairy. You want to buy protein. Okay, and you also want to buy um, let's see something of spices, or whatever. Okay, now within fruits, of course, we have a bunch of other options, right? Let's say that if we want to buy fruits, let's say, oh, wait, I did something weird right there. Okay, but within fruits, there's oranges, there's apples, there's bananas, and so forth and so on. So I hit enter right here, and what I do is I hit or click this button that says increase indent, as you saw right there on the pop-up text. I click on that thing, okay, it moves it or it decreases it one level. And right here, I'm going to put oranges and apples, okay? And for vegetables, I want to do exactly the same thing. Now, a quicker way to do this to increase the indent, you could also hit the tab button on your keyboard. So I hit the tab button and it does exactly the same thing as this. And if I want to go back, I click or hit or tap the button shift and then tab, but all together. Okay, it has to be shift tab put together. Okay, and then it sends it back one level. So this goes back one level and this goes forward one level, and it does creates another sub level. Let's say that I want to do lettuce and I want to do tomato. Okay, for dairy, I want to do milk and cheese. protein, I will do chicken and fish. Okay, and then for spices, I need just simply pepper. Okay, and you could do that like this, and you create a bunch of different sub-levels. Okay, um, you could also create another sub-level. Let's say that I want specific type of milk. Okay, so I hit enter like this, and I decrease indent one more level. Okay, and I want almond milk like this. It's dairy, it's milk, and it's almond milk, and I also want 2%. Okay. For protein, let's say that I want chicken, but I want specifically legs and breast. Okay, so I want only that part. For fish, I want the sea bass. I think that's how it's spelled. I'm not sure. For or is that, let's say that for apples, I want specifically green apples. Okay, I don't want any red apples or whatever, any golden or anything like that. I want specifically that one. So that's the way that you can create different sub-levels for this in case you want to create a list. Like in the case of the grocery list, I think it's the most transparent way to do this, to do it or to talk about it. Now, the last option that I want to talk about when it comes to creating lists and in bullet points, you also create something called the numbered bullet point list. Okay, in which each one of the numbers are each items within the list are in a numbered order. So item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5, and finally item n. Okay, let's create that. So now I select all of this and I click on this button that I have right here that's for numbered lists. Okay, numbering. So I click on that thing, and each item has a specific number. Okay, now the cool part is that we could do a couple of other interesting things right here in this with a list like this. So let's say that item number 1 has one sublevel. Okay, so I click on it, and the cool part is that the items are going to shift down, but the item that you hit enter, or the empty space, is going to be number 2. Now let's look at this. So item list number 2 is actually item number 2. Item list number 3, list item number 3, excuse me, is item 3. List item number 4 is item 4. So if I hit enter after 1, now item 2 shifted down or went down one space, and now it's on the list. It's actually number 3. Item number 3 is actually number 4, and item number 4 is actually list item number 5. So this one shouldn't be number 2 because I want this to be a sublevel of 1. So I click on this increase indent or hit the tab button, whichever we want. Okay, and now what it does is that instead of creating a number, it since it's a level below, it changes the order into an alphabetical value, which gives us this ability to separate the sublevels. So now this is item 1.1 because it's a sublevel. If I hit enter and it goes, if I hit enter here, it's going to go to item B. So item B is actually 1.2, which is cool. From item 1, it goes to item A and item B. And this part of the list, or this sublevel of the list, is a sublevel of item 1, as we can see item 1.1 and 1.2. Okay, now with item 1.2, I'm going to show you something even cooler. I'm going to hit enter, hit the tab button. So now this one is item number 2.1. But it turns out that this one also has a sublevel. So I hit enter and it's B, and if I increase the indent, now it goes into Roman numeral small caps number 1. So this would be item number 2.1.1, I believe. And this goes as far down as the page allows you to. I've never personally done that many sublevels, but it is possible to do a bunch more. Okay, 3.1, item 3.2, item 3.3, and let's say that item 3.2 is the only one that has sublevels. So this is item 3.2.1, and this one has another sublevel. Okay, this one is item 3.2.1.1. Okay, bunch of other levels. Now, it went back to number 1, and I don't like that. I don't think this is the right way to go because I already have numbers on the beginning level. Okay, so item number 3.2.1.2. That's the next sub-level right here. But I don't want this to be numbers. So what I do in this case is I expand the values right here, okay, and I tell it what I want it to be. I don't want it to be number 1. I want it to be, let's say, Roman numerals in capitalized numbers. So I click on that, and now I have these really cool values, okay? And if I decrease this, this becomes part of this previous list. So this is item 3.2.2. Okay, I hope I made myself clear with this one because the sublevels tend to be a bit confusing. But as you can see, all of the numbers that start with 3 are part of the same group, right? If it has 2 digits, it's part of the same list, like 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. So these are part of the same list, as you can see here. Okay, this one is a separated thing, but it tells you that it's the same level. And in this case, it's the Roman numerals 1 and 2, capitalized letter, tells you this. And then item 3.2.1, these two values are, or levels, or items on the list are part of the same level. Okay, right here, item 4.1, item 4.2. Let's give this one a sublevel, item 4.2.1. Okay, and this one, item 5.1. Okay, so this is another cool way of doing it. Now check this out. This also creates an interesting thing. Okay, restarting a numbered list. Okay, let's say that this next item is element 1, element 2. Let me type this a little faster. Element 3, element 4, and element number n. Okay, so I select all of these, click on the numbered list, and wait a minute, it's doing something weird. It's giving me the last list I selected. What am I going to do? So the first thing I do is I click on this thing and say, I don't want to see that. So I want numbers. So I click on the numbers, okay, and it automatically generates the next list, and I corrected that. Now another thing that's kind of cool that you can do, and I find this really interesting. Let's say that for some reason I'm continuing with the list, and the next item is the one after number 6. Okay, so the next number would be number 7, like this. Okay, item or element 1. Okay, let me try that again. Element 1. There we go. Then I copy this thing, and then I go to element number 2, element number 3, element number 4, element number 5, and or n. But now I'm looking at something else. I don't want this to be part of the previous list because it's the subsequential number, but I don't want this to be part of that one. I want this to be an independent list. But if it's an independent list, I want it to start on number 1. So I right-click on this and click on Restart Numbering. Now it is important that you select the first one, or you select where you want it to begin. Because if I click here on number 9 and I put Restart Numbering, the beginning is going to be right here with the number that I selected. And I don't want that. I want to replace the number 7 with 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, so right here I'm going to Restart Numbering. And there you go. So it's a pretty cool feature that you have on Microsoft Word, and to create these lists and sublists. Trust me, they come in pretty handy. So thank you very much. Please let me know if you have any comments or questions, and let me know right here on the comment section. Thanks.